Hi folks, at the moment I'm actually editing a video that's already out, but with the cunning use of time travel, here we are. What I'm going to tell you is the story behind the Toolangi Part 1 video. I say Part 1 because we are actually building up to something here. You'll see where we're heading in a few videos time. But before we get stuck into what, how, why, got to get the backstory. Now in 2013 I think it was, there was a lovely guy called Scott Loxley, and he was actually walking from Melbourne around Australia and back to raise money for the Monash Children's Hospital. Amazing cause. Of course he couldn't stop just there because Scott was actually a member of the 501st Legion, which is a fan-based organisation dedicated to the idea of bad guys doing good, basically cosplay. The Empire, the bad guys from Star Wars. Scott walked around Australia wearing a Stormtrooper outfit, which is a huge deal. I actually met Scott at the Willair Bridge Roadhouse in Western Australia, following where he was going, and I made sure I was there so I could actually have a chat to him. Lovely guy. Fast forward about a year and a half later, I moved down to Geelong, and of course decided to tee up and catch up with the 501st guys. So I met up with Scott and a whole bunch of other amazing people at the Australia Day Parade. One of those guys that I met was a lovely guy called Logan, ex-army guy. We actually figured out that we actually lived in the same part of New South Wales, a little town called Newcastle, while he was in the army. Never met while we were there, but the connection was there. We had a funny little sort of backstory there. Now one of Logan's friends, a lovely guy called Cody, who I met sometime later. Well, let's just say Cody and I got to talking. We both love our Jurassic parks. We're all one big circle of nerds, it's basically what I'm saying. And Cody happens to be sort of the go-to guy for a beautiful little organisation called the Jurassic Park Motor Pool of Australia. Cody creates events and organises them for members of the motor pool and their fan-built vehicles. Cody and I have been talking back and forth about doing drones and getting a few photos of his beautiful Jeep, which you would have already seen and you'll see more of. You know, it turns out that a few other life things happened, and we actually got to the point where we were really, really lucky. And I said to Cody, hey, I am off on this day. I have the day off. Everything's sorted. Everything's covered. Let's go bush and play with cars. Cody said, okay, let's go. Do you mind if I bring a friend? I'm like, with like another Jeep? And he's like, yep. I'm like, yes, do it. Can I bring another drone operator? Next minute, we ended up having 3 cars, and I roped in Chris to help develop that plan just a little bit further.
We got to try to figure out where we're going, what shots, how all that looks, so we get an understanding of sort of what we want to achieve out of the day, because it's going to be a big day, but it's going to go very quickly once we get out there.
Something I think we really want to consider is how do we do this quickly so we're not ruining everyone's day? But we're going to come around the corner and be like, oh, this corner would be really good if we set up a camera there and a drone there and here, and we've got to reverse 400
meters so we can do it again.
Which is a very real possibility considering the environment that we're talking about. Why don't we just do what we do best and nerd out over the movie and see if we can find some of those key shots. Get them entering the shot, but you're sort of tracking them to a degree through the shot, but then you're sort of taking the focus away from the vehicles.
As it comes through back into
so they'll come through that sort of cascade. We'll do a panning drone lift like that.
Yeah.
So we set up maybe something like this on the outside corner, or maybe even the inside corner actually.
Inside corner would be cool.
Inside, and then maybe even a camera. Just
on the exit.
phone or something like that coming out there.
Yeah.
Timing is important for the whole day as well.
Well, yeah, because we're getting permission from our wives to go out and do all of this and spend the day very early in the morning and potentially getting home relatively late. Everyone's got their own lives that they're putting on hold to come out and have a good day.
On the day we're talking, you and I are up at stupid o'clock.
Yeah, 5:30 at the latest. Well, it's 5:38. We would not normally be up this early.
I mean,
especially after the night you and I had the night before.
Yeah, Chris and I both have got kids, and
so we weren't together. Like this is,
and our kids separately decided to make things hard. But we're up. We're travelling in the general direction.
We're consuming a shit ton of coffee.
And next stop is driving through Melbourne, getting the other side, meeting up with Cody, getting into JP23, and then catching up with the rest of the team and heading bush.
And the fun begins from there.
So the weather in Victoria can be pretty unpredictable. We're often accused of having 4 seasons in a day, and the day that we chose to go out was no different. We were hoping that the weather would clear up, but there was never a guarantee of that because you can't predict the weather and what's happening down here. So it was raining, and we went out anyway with the hope that we'd be able to get the drones in the sky. The rain eased off, but the problem was we weren't specific enough by saying no rain and no wind. So what we had was a lot of wind and a lot of question marks as to what was going to happen. By this point in the day, we were confident that the drones would not get blown away by the wind, but we were making it up as we were going along, so we decided to stop and develop a bit of a plan. We only took a few moments to plan the next couple of shots and jump back in the cars. So once we did get going, we did find some pretty cool stuff, including a makeshift gun range. So some people don't realise it, but about 1 in 12 men are actually colourblind. I happen to be one of them. Unfortunately, I actually can't tell the difference between different shades of green and the depth between them. Unfortunately, that's when this happens.